It's Wednesday, April 4th, 2018. It's Wednesday, so it's Eezeey Gamer time. There was a video I put out where I said Tuesdays and Wednesdays were song dissections. I meant Tuesdays and Fridays. So if you came here expecting a song dissection, which you probably didn't because it didn't get a lot of views, it'll be on Friday. In the future. 2 more days from now. I promise there'll be one. I just was going really fast at the end of the video, because I try to keep most of these under 15 minutes. I try to keep most of them under 15 minutes just because it seems like a nice time to keep things under. I have made a few longer videos because I figured out how to do it on the iPad, which was giving me problems. So today's topic for Eezeey Gamer: bring back the NCAA football games, or NCAA games, period. Now, the problem was the NCAA games kind of got hit in the mouth because they were using players' likenesses to sell the games, and they weren't getting paid for it. So here you have March Madness 1998 on the original Sony PlayStation. Look who's on the cover: Tim Duncan. And you have NCAA football 1998. Look who's on the cover: Danny Werfel. He needed more money. Danny Werfel could have used some help financially. Then we go to NCAA Football 13, which I think was the very last one they did. And on the cover of this is Barry Sanders, who was already a pro, and they got his permission, and Robert Griffin III in his Baylor uniform. He could probably use some money now. And here's Kevin Love on NCAA Basketball 09, which was the last one of these, I think. Now, Ed O'Bannon is the one that kind of came out and got mad because the way he explained, I think he didn't get paid, or he was fighting for the players that didn't get paid for their likenesses being in the game. And good on him, because the players should have gotten something. If you're going to use their likeness, they should get something. So the NCAA basically just figured, oh, well, you play for us, you signed you signed the thing saying we can use your likeness in any way we see fit. Well, that's not fair. It's not fair to those players. I get it. They're getting a scholarship, and to some people, education is super important. But to some of these kids, they're only there because they're really good at their particular sport and they want to go play that. Now, if they get injured and they need something to fall back on, the education is not a bad thing to fall back on. But most of these players, they get out, they'll leave school early so that they can continue, so that they can move into their pro career and make money. But, so I started thinking about it. It's like the NCAA isn't going to come back into... They're not coming back into the video game sphere, and why not? I don't understand why they can't. As long as you don't use the players' likenesses, really, when you're playing an NCAA game, think about it. Does the player on the cover really matter? When you're playing an NCAA game, the thing you care about the most is your favorite school. You care about that more than anything. You're not looking to play as the players. The players change all the time. They're constantly rotating in and out. The players aren't the main important thing for a video game, because you just need, when you're playing a video game, you just need the uniform. You need the school. You need the fight song. You need the stadium that's around you. You need that. You need more of the atmosphere of college sports rather than having the players that were playing that year. And you can always edit them in yourself. I mean, usually the editing thing is pretty robust. So you could go in and edit in each player if you so choose to do so. But remember, you're going to lose them after a few years because they're not going to stay forever. So I thought, why not bring back? Here's some ways that you could bring back, and Electronic Arts should take, I think Electronic Arts should take it over again. Because they did make very good football games. The NCAA football games, I loved them. I loved them more than the Madden series. And, the Madden series has all the NFL players, but I love the NCAA. And I didn't care who the players were because I always created my own players. Because I wanted to put myself and my friends and everybody else on the team. And then, of course, I was always, then the fun part was the recruiting of all the players that were the blue chip prospects. And, you know, you'd start out, you know, I could do it one of two ways. I could either just say, I'm going to coach Michigan and run the tables because I'm going to be able to get all the 5-star recruits easy, or I'm going to take a really tiny school like the Akron Zips and turn them into beasts and make them, you know, a 6-star school or whatever the rating was. And all of a sudden, Akron is competing constantly for national championships in all sports. And why not? Why can't the Akron Zips compete for championships? The Akron Zips for championships. The Akron Zips for championships. Why not? And I did it. I thought it was fun. It was a lot of fun to do that. So here's some ways you could technically bring all this back. First, don't use any of the real players. We've already discussed this a little bit. Don't use the real players. You don't have to. All you have to do is just make the players that are good, that are on, if you have some, if Alabama has a really good defense and an okay offense, all you got to do is make the defense really good and the offense okay. You know, you don't have to sit there and pick apart everybody and go, oh, well, I got to make, you know, I got to make every single individual player and recreate them. No, bunch of generic players and make it close. Because really, when you play an NCAA game, you're playing for the college. That's what you're playing as. You're not looking to take one of the best players. You're taking the college that you love to play as. Or you're taking a tiny college and you want to make them into something gigantic. Share the money with scholarship funds. Make some of the profits that the NCAA and EA gets, make them go to scholarship funds. In fact, have a way that some of the DLC that you buy, specifically if you buy it, all the money from that particular DLC would go to scholarships for these schools, for these kids. So you could have DLC where you buy it and specifically every dollar that they get that's profit, every single dollar that the NCAA or EA would get as profit goes right to a scholarship fund. So that you could even pick, it's like, oh, I'll buy that because I know it'll help a scholarship fund for some of these schools, and it'll give a kid an education, and that to me would be big. I mean, I'd buy some of the DLC just to help the educational system of some of these colleges. I mean, why not? You know, why not help? You know, why not help make people smarter than me? For God's sakes, you don't want to all be dumb like me. You want to have intelligence. So we need to get these kids in school and get them scholarships. So, but I could do my part by buying a video game and playing it and buying some stuff. Yeah. See, I got nothing intelligent to say after that. It's just like, yeah. So, the next thing we would do, if you're going to take on the NCAA license, every single year, you have to put out a different sport. Now, basketball and football can be every single year. You can put out a basketball and a football game every year. That's fine. Those are the two biggest sports in college. That's fine. But every single year, you have to develop another game. Like you have to have a college baseball game. You have to have maybe a college volleyball game. You have to have, you have to have maybe a track and field game. Maybe you have lacrosse. You could have soccer. And let's face it, FIFA, why not have a college soccer? If you got FIFA, you could probably make an awesome college soccer game, so why not? I mean, could you imagine playing at some of your favorite colleges in lacrosse and soccer and some of the, and maybe the college soccer game gets to be so big that becomes an every year game for the series because you're playing as your favorite. Why not? I mean, you could, the NCAA makes a little bit more money. The scholarship funds make a little bit more money, and EA makes a little bit more money, and then we get more great games focused on more college sports than just football and basketball. And the other side of this is all the games except for maybe football. And even football, I'm going to say maybe this rule should apply. You have to have a women's version of the sport in your game. If you do college basketball, you have to have a men's field and a women's field. You have to give equal time to both. If you're going to have a college baseball game, you got to have a women's softball game inside of it. So they both have to coincide. So it would be men's college, men's college baseball and women's college softball. Boom, right there. You could have them both in there, and so if somebody wants to play, women's college softball instead of men's college baseball, it's right there, and they're together. Same with lacrosse, same with soccer, same with track and field. The only reason it'll be tough in football is because there is no, I don't think there's women's college football, but I'd like to see it because I think it'd be awesome. But, even if you don't have it in real life, put it in there. Have a women's college football league because I think that'd be kind of cool. So so you have them on even footing. They're right there together, and you can have the NCAA, you could play the men's NCAA tournament in basketball or the women's NCAA tournament in basketball. And you would be able to choose, and that way you're also giving equal time to the men and the women in the game, which I think would just make the game. It would also make the game just tons more fun to play, because it would just give you, and if you really wanted to, you could do a mixed gender, because it's just a video game. So the injuries aren't real, the people aren't real. It's all just pixels and polygons and textures and everything else. So you could put men and women together, have them on even footing as athletes, and you could have some, 220-pound woman smashing through the line and blasting through a safety that's trying to tackle her. Why not? She could be just as strong, she could be just as powerful, she could be just as mean and aggressive. Or she might have Walter Payton-like sweetness moves or something, but you could do any way you want. But you don't have to, make all the women like wide receivers or cornerbacks. No, make some of them offensive linemen, make some of them quarterbacks. Heck yeah. Same with basketball. You could have women and men in the same one. It's all fictional, so that you could mix them together, and it's just fiction. It's just a video game. You don't have to worry about it. Put them on equal footing together, and you could just have a mixed league where, why not? I think it'd be fun. You could put all your friends in there on the same team, whether they're male or female. They're all on the same team. They're all represented by more accurate models than just sitting there and going, I'll just give that guy long hair and give him a girl's name. No, it's a video game. Do what you want. Have fun. If I want everybody to play together, why not? It's just a game. It's not going to hurt anybody. They're not going to get hurt. We're not going to get hurt unless I hurt my thumbs from playing it for so many hours. But what do you think? Do you think these ideas are good? Do you have any better ideas to bring the NCAA back and maybe make the NCAA games better and give us more sports? Because every year we could get a new sport. We might find another sports franchise that we love, NCAA-wise, and maybe it becomes a yearly sport like, football and basketball would probably be if they came back. So, with all that being said, to the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.